Jose's back in Binghamton and lots of folks coming out.
Yeah, there is expected to be a pretty good sized crowd tonight, so much that they're thinking they'll probably have to move some of the reporters into some other seats, but that's all right. We'll make room. Reese Haven made room for him by sharing his jersey number. Of course, when an all-star like Jose Reyes comes to town, it's an honor to give up your number. Now, we did speak to him before the game. After a 69-63 win in the NIT season tip-off tournament, Coach Boeheim said the Orange had a lot of learning opportunities on this trip to New York City. One thing they worked on quite a bit was coming from behind. The Orange say they had a lot of heart and showed that they can get things done when the game is on the line. Every football coach in the world says it. You can't win the game if you lose the turnover battle, and that was the problem for Syracuse this afternoon. It's been a problem the Orange just can't shake. Also costly was the blocked field goal that the Scarlet Knights returned for a touchdown.
Aaron, I imagine the team is just as excited as the fans to get going, right?
They're very pumped up, Brian. They're excited to be back in Cortland. They love coming up here from the city. It's a nice little getaway. And the first couple of guys to arrive were some sophomores and juniors, second and third year players. Of course, we saw a couple of the older guys as well. Among the first was 7-year kicker Nick Folk. He kind of joked as he walked by that said maybe being early would help him make the team. We also saw 7-year linebacker David Harris, who looked like he packed sort of light for camp this year. The guy we were all hoping to see was QB Mark Sanchez. He was very California cool, getting in fashionably late, while his new competition across the campus, Geno Smith, was stepping off the bus ready to go for his first NFL training camp.
Mac, I know King was hoping to be coaching the home team at some point, but it must be exciting for him to be back either way.
Yeah, it's got to be exciting. He says he comes back every 3 weeks, but tonight to play some basketball, a coach against a team that he grew up watching. Coach Rice, how does it feel to be back here in Binghamton in your hometown tonight?
It's always good to be home. Now that the game time is getting closer, my focus has definitely switched to the game. Got a lot of great memories being from Binghamton, saw a lot of great friends last night and today, and anytime you get a chance to come home is pretty exciting.
Yeah, speaking of coming home, you came back as a player when you played at North Carolina and played at Cornell. I had a game up there in the season that you guys went to the Final Four. What was that game like, coming back to play at Cornell?
Well, it was my senior year, and Coach Smith always tries to get you close to home. We had already played Syracuse, and at that time Binghamton was not D1, so the closest school was Cornell. The thing I remember about that game is before the game, their guys were all fired up telling us what they were going to do, and we were just like, hey guys, it could be a good night or a bad night, whichever way you want to do it, and fortunately for us, we came out on top.
You guys have a game this evening against Binghamton. They had a head coaching opening just last year. I know you've only been at Monmouth for a year and a half or so, but was there any inclination in your mind that Binghamton would be a spot that maybe you'd throw your hat in the ring for a job here?
Well, not this time. The couple years ago when Coach Brodus got the job, I was at Vanderbilt when he was at Georgetown, and I really wanted it then. Tried hard to get involved, and it just wasn't in the cards. And they went with Kevin and then Mark, and I just want to say I'm really happy for the university that they got Coach Dempsey. He's a great coach. He's from Scranton. I feel like that's our sister town, and he's going to make everybody in Binghamton real proud. So I think they got the right guy.
Well, at Binghamton High School, I'm sure very proud of yourself and all that you've accomplished in the years. That's Coach King Rice. His Monmouth squad will take on Binghamton tonight. Tip time, 7 o'clock. We'll have all the post-game reaction coming up tonight. In Binghamton, I'm Aaron McElherne, YNN Sports.
For post-race reaction, we go to the Glen, where YNN's Aaron McElherne has been all weekend. And Mac, this course has a lot of twists and turns, and sure enough, this race had a lot of twists and turns.
It did have a lot of twists and turns, which makes for some drama. Kozlowski kind of joked afterwards that he's just trying to keep us journalists employed by providing some of that drama. He knows how hard it is to be a journalist these days, so he wanted to give us some of that. We've said all weekend long that it's crucial to start at the front of the field here at Watkins Glen, and today's winner did just that. 20 times the winner has come out of the top 5. Guess where Busch started this afternoon? 5th. 4 spots behind two-time defending champ Marcos Ambrose. Ambrose led 51 laps, but Busch led the one that counted after avoiding all 6 of the day's wrecks and not causing any of his own.
some close calls, some tense moments there, racing with Truex a little bit at one time through the S's and into the inner loop. That was fun. Just all those cautions at the end, you know, I mean, I felt like our car was definitely better on the long runs. It seemed like I could stretch it out once we got a few laps going. Was able to hold off, you know, the guys that are hungry behind us.
I thought I had them on the crossover through 11, and just these cars have such a huge aero wake behind them that when I crossed through his wake, the car just lost all grip and I didn't have a shot at it. So just the way it goes.
It's definitely hard to pass the leader. You know, that clean air is so big, and I almost had the lead there once on that one restart, and I feel like if I could have got it, I could have taken care of my tires a little better, and those guys would have had a hard time getting back behind me.
Kyle Busch, of course, has won here before at the Glen. He was the last winner to win from the pole. That came in 2008, excuse me. As for Brad Keselowski, he is now 3 times a runner-up here at Watkins Glen. At Watkins Glen International, I'm Aaron McElherne for YNN Sports.
Portland junior linebacker John Stevens had never been in the hospital before in his life, not even for a broken arm or to have his tonsils removed as a kid. But after participating in the football team's bone marrow donor registration drive, he got a call that would change that and save the life of a newborn girl in California who was spending lots of time in the hospital fighting leukemia.
Knowing that I was able to help somebody else, having the opportunity to do that, I just went on and did it.
Stevens donated his bone marrow in January 2011 and then waited for more than a year before he was able to find out how the baby girl he had helped was making out.
Before I came to camp, I finally got an email from the mother saying that she's 100% healthy.
Fighting leukemia is a pretty hard way to start your life, but now Clara Boyle should be just fine thanks to a little bit of dragon blood from her hero here in Cortland.
The knight in shining armor that they didn't even know they had out there, and Claire, I'm sure, probably doesn't even understand the whole thing, and you know, his blood coursing through her veins, and you know, it's dragon's blood. She'll be all right.
The Cortland linebacker and the California 2-year-old he saved have become frequent online chatters and will soon get the chance to meet in person as her and her family come to Cortland to watch the Red Dragons take on Brockport.
I think they at least talk like once a week. He's got her as his screensaver, and it's cool to see that they have that bond together.
To actually personally see them face to face, it's going to be a great moment. A great moment, really.
The story began with a swab of Stevens' mouth to gather cheek cells for the donor registry 2 years ago, and will now be highlighted by smiles from cheek to cheek as the Cortland linebacker and the little girl from California meet for the first time this weekend. In Cortland, I'm Aaron McElherne, YNN Sports.
Before it's all said and done, Sean Rossi could be Division III's all-time career assists leader. He's 124 short of the top of the list now, but the long journey towards the front of the record books began before he even came to Ithaca College.
In high school, I had 3 other players that went to go play college basketball, so I've always had players to pass to. As soon as I got here, I had some of the best scorers in the country. So, as a freshman, I really wanted to pass first and look to score second.
When Sean Rossi came in, we basically handed him the ball and said, here, the responsibility is yours. And, he hit the ground running. His freshman year, he led us to a 20-win season in an ECAC championship, and he's really never looked back.
Rossi makes a great point guard because of his willingness to help his teammates find ways to score. It's really all part of who he is. On a frame. Okay. Hey, thanks for the assist.
No problem. A lot better.
I don't know if I've ever seen him lay down his coat for somebody to walk across a mud puddle on or anything like that, but he is very outgoing. He's very helpful.
Day to day, I try to keep a smile on my face, be nice to everyone I see, and help out if help's needed.
He's so helpful, Coach Mullins has had to push Rossi to shoot more, and it's working. Rossi could become the first player in Division III history to post 1,000 career assists and 1,000 career points.
Hey, I got you.
In Ithaca, I'm Aaron McElherne, YNN Sports.